Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. We're your hosts, M and J. Hey. And today the two of us are talking about the recent trailer that was released for the Netflix reboot of Carmen Sandiego. It's kind of strange that they would debut the trailer only a couple weeks before the show is actually going to premiere. It seems like there wasn't much promotion for this show. The show is scheduled to release on January 18th, but this trailer was put on YouTube on the 4th. And I thought She-Ra's trailer was cutting it close, but at least they posted that a few months ahead of schedule. Get it together, Netflix. But with that being said, Carmen Sandiego is a very iconic character with a long history of video games and TV shows like game shows and an animated series. And now she's coming to Netflix in a new reboot. The description for the Netflix trailer says, everybody asks, where is Carmen Sandiego? But nobody asks, who is Carmen Sandiego? So that's suggesting that this show is going to focus more on Carmen herself and her backstory, and the trailer shows that too. Despite Carmen being the title character, she's mostly been the villain of the series. She's an international thief who likes to steal historic and famous treasures, mostly for the thrill of it. A lot of the time she actually leaves clues around for the Acme detectives to find, specifically so that way they can go after her and they go on these wild adventures all around the world. It was both a game to Carmen and a literal game because of the video games and the game shows, and even in the animated series there was a player character who would guide the Acme agents and help them solve puzzles and help bring back the things she stole. The main focus of the various Carmen Sandiego media was actually to be educational, teaching kids things like geography and history. But it had a really cool twist because it was about kids learning these facts so they could stop a thief and help bring back these treasures. It wasn't like being lectured in a classroom. So in this trailer we see two different versions of Carmen. One where she's a teenager attending this v.i.l.e training academy for thieves, and one where she's an adult out of high school and she has her iconic outfit. It seems like a lot of modern cartoons are really going for the aged down characters because they want them to be relatable to the audience. But I do appreciate that they at least understood that you cannot do Carmen Sandiego without her hat and coat. That's criminal. That would be the real crime here. I think traditionally Carmen has been portrayed as an established adult, and it seems like this Carmen, even when she's wearing her iconic hat and coat, she seems like she's more of a young adult. So it seems like she has been aged down, but it's like they found a compromise between keeping the iconic look but also wanting to have a teenage character going to school, even if it's a thief school, so that way they can have the relatability to the audience that they're trying to get. I'm curious to see if these flashbacks are going to be throughout the series or if it's just in one episode. But I'm also a little worried because a big part of Carmen Sandiego's character is the mystery to her. She's a very interesting and mysterious figure, and I don't really want them to reveal too much. This seems to be the most heroic version of Carmen Sandiego that we've seen. Instead of running v.i.l.e, she's actively working against v.i.l.e because she appears to have this kind of tragic backstory where she was actually being trained by v.i.l.e before she came to this realization that theft isn't a game and it does hurt people, which kind of has a double meaning because for Carmen it has always been a game, but also it's literally been a game with video games and the game shows. So it seems like they're going for a more serious approach with this series. Carmen has a line in the trailer where she says,
I realized stealing isn't a game. It does harm people. Especially when you're willing to steal lives.
And it just begs the question, how dark is this show going to get? Ultimately, this is still a kids show, but it does feel like they're going for a more serious tone than previous Carmen Sandiego media. So this show has a player character, and he kind of comes off like Wade from Kim Possible. He's talking directly to Carmen, and he's helping her on her missions to steal things, which is a huge departure from previous Carmen media, because in the video games, the person playing was literally necessarily the player. In the game show, the kids that were playing were new Acme detective agency recruits. And in the animation, the player character was directly helping the Acme agents try to stop Carmen. This would explain why they're making her more heroic, because the player character is meant to represent the kids at home. And you can't have kids relating to a thief who steals famous artifacts just for fun. That's a bad message. So they had to make her a more heroic thief, which can be done. Robin Hood is probably the most famous heroic thief. I don't know if she's as heroic as Robin Hood because he's actually giving back to the poor, and it seems like she's stealing from other thieves. Well, we haven't found out what she does with those artifacts yet. But either way, she's definitely a more heroic figure. It feels a little bit like Black Widow, a little bit like Robin Hood, but I am a little worried that by trying to make her more sympathetic and more relatable and more heroic, that they might have missed out on a big part of what makes Carmen Sandiego. It wasn't necessarily just her iconic look that made her so cool. It was also that she was very mysterious. She's a thief. She does what she does because she loves it. She's one of the best, and she's very talented at what she does. It almost feels like they were too afraid to make a villain be the main character because it would be a bad message to kids. And it seems like they're not going with the Acme detective agency route, so the kids could relate to the detectives and let Carmen do what she loves and what she's good at. Something that was a bit concerning about this trailer was that they basically had the pitch for the show in the trailer, where there's this character who says, "What if Carmen Sandiego was a thief who stole from other thieves?" I mean, I don't understand why they had to be so on the nose about it. It was already basically revealed that that's what's going on with the context of the trailer itself. They didn't have to come out and say it. So that makes me think that this show might have a problem with show don't tell. Like, imagine if for Batman Beyond there was a trailer where they say, "What if Batman was a teenager?" It would just be kind of strange. Despite those concerns, I do like the style of the show, and I appreciate the lighting and shading. A lot of modern cartoons aren't using those techniques in their animation, and it's pretty noticeable. So I think that this stylized version is a really nice change of pace for modern cartoons. It does seem like the team behind this show is trying to take into consideration various other Carmen media. They did keep her iconic look despite aging her down a bit, and Gina Rodriguez, the voice for this version of Carmen Sandiego, said in an interview that Rita Moreno, the voice of Carmen Sandiego in previous versions, will have guest appearances on this show, and it seems like they're being more respectful to the original based on this interview, which is very appreciated. I think we're mostly curious about this show. They can try to take the character in their own direction, but I hope that they keep the fun spirit of the original. It is strange to see Carmen Sandiego as not a villain. There have been other times where they've tried to give her a backstory, including her even being a member of the Acme detective agency, but she quit to be a thief. But those have kind of come and gone, so this might just be their interpretation or something like that. But we'd like to know what were your thoughts on the Carmen Sandiego trailer. Do you like the direction of her being more heroic, or is it just too out of left field? I'm still not sure if I'm fully on board with it, but I guess we'll have to see. Thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. You can like this video and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more stuff like this, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone. Bye, guys.